Okay, let's get started then. I think everybody out there knows me. I'm Nathalie, and I am so glad that you're here. I wanted to share with you a little bit about this journey that I've been on in the last year that's gotten me to sort of switch my thinking a little bit or add in some new modalities with what I've been doing. I've always been, as a painter and a writer and a performer and a storyteller, someone that looks for inspiration deep within. And so the Emotion Code and work with energy healing just sort of feels like an extension of something that I was already doing and felt like a language that I didn't even know that I wanted to learn how to speak. So today I thought we would do a couple things. Number one is I'd love to share my story with you. Number two, I would love to tell you a little bit about the Emotion Code, what it is, what it's about. I'd also love to do a couple of demos. So if there's anyone out there that would be willing, interested in trying to do a demo with me, I'll be talking about the Emotion Code and ways that we can use it right now, especially to help us listen more deeply. One of those ways that we can, there's three different types of, I'm telling you this now, I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but three different things that I thought we could focus on today in terms of like a demo with the Emotion Code. One is if anyone has any sort of a physical thing going on, like a sore neck or something like a physical reoccurring thing that's happening. That's one thing that we can use the Emotion Code for. The other is if there's a lot of like emotional turbulence or stuff like self-sabotaging behaviors or getting stuck in a rut or a pattern or something that's just coming up right now. I think this time with this pandemic and isolation, it's kind of the great amplifier. So if there's been stuff that's been brewing, it kind of gets amplified right now. So if anyone is having anything sort of emotional that's coming up, that's another avenue that we can look at things. And the third one is the Emotion Code is a great tool to check in to see where your immune system's at. You can actually check and see where your immune system is functioning. So if anybody's feeling like, yeah, I'd like to check that out, you can Facebook message me, and we've got our like backup like techie guy here that's gonna take any volunteers, and so you can send me this. You can send which one of those three you would like to volunteer for, and of those three, you can tell me what is it that's happening. Like, is there an ache or a pain, or is there an emotion that's coming up, or if it's the immune system. And you can rate the first two more than the immune system on a scale of 1 to 10. So if you're having like really bad headaches, and it's a 10 out of 10, like it's really, really bad, like it's, kind of taking over, you can tell us it's a 10 out of 10, or if it's kind of in the middle, 5 out of 10, or if it's kind of bothersome, 2 out of 10. And if you feel like it, you can give us a pseudonym, so this can all be done anonymously. Okay, so I thought we would do that, like a demo, and then I thought throughout I'm going to just give some really great tips for helping to keep your immune system high right now, helping to keep your energy in balance right now, and so and then questions. If anyone has questions at the end, we can take some questions. So give me some like thumbs up and stuff if that all sounds good. Is that sounding good? Any comments from the peanut gallery?
You got lots of love, lots of thumbs and hearts, and lots of people online here.
Oh, awesome.
So that's good.
I hope everyone's cozy. It's a kind of a gray, rainy day here in Toronto, so I hope you have some tea. I wore very super cozy stuff because I just want this to be a really cozy, intimate little chat about healing and energy and soul. So let's dive in. Okay. Oh, hello, Marcia. Nice to see you. Welcome.
She says me. She wants to do it.
Oh, darn. I shouldn't have called that out.
Well, I didn't know because she didn't say.
Oh, did she say it like in front of everyone?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hi, Marcia. Sure, that sounds good.
This is new to us here.
Yeah, this is
figuring this out.
So, if you feel like a pseudonym, let us know. Or if you're okay to not have one, that's cool too. Okay, so let me give you a little bit of my personal story. As some of you may know, about a year and a half ago, my rock, my world, my everything, my techie guy, my sidekick, ended up getting very ill, and we were in Beijing and ended up with what we thought was pneumonia, and ended up coming back from Beijing, leaving holidays and work early, and it ended up being a 6-month battle with what the doctors could only call a virus of unknown origin. And during that time, I did what I often did as a child, which was I was really good in crisis. There was a lot of emotional turbulence as I was growing up, and ongoing. And so I know how to rise up. I know how to get things done. I know how to manage crisis. In the middle of the night, I'm changing sheets. I'm doing laundry 3 times a day. We're doing groceries. And that went for about 6 months. And when Ross got better, that's when I completely fell apart. And I think my defenses were down because I was exhausted and because of the stress. And what ended up happening is my entire digestive system just shut down completely. And so at that point, I was, with Ross's illness, one of the things that happened during that time was we were looking at books like When the Body Says No by Gabor Mate, which is a great book that talks about sometimes if we don't stand up for ourselves in life, our bodies will speak for us. So during that time, we were asking the question, is there something that your body's trying to tell you, something that you're not standing up for, or something that you need to express or heal? And also during that time, I ended up getting a great friend of mine, Kelly, who is very sort of spiritual and like-minded, sent me a wonderful link to a Gaia video that was a movie called Emotion. And it was all about alternative healing and how important emotions are to our, obviously our emotional health, but our physical health and our spiritual health. And in this movie that I watched probably 4 times, I started really beginning to ask a lot of questions about what do I need to listen to right now? What is my body trying to tell me? Why has my digestion shut down completely? And as I was asking these questions, it was so interesting to me that I was having acid reflux. And what I realized at that same time was not only was this acid coming up, but all of this unresolved stuff from my childhood was coming up as well. And all of this emotional, all these memories were coming up faster than I could process them. And in that video, there was one doctor, a chiropractor from the States called Dr. Bradley Nelson, that was talking about something called the Emotion Code. And it was this way to tap into whatever is happening right now, and to be able to ask the questions of like, is there a trapped emotion? Is there an energy blockage? Is there something unresolved in the subconscious that I need to bring to the surface in order to clear away and to heal. And for someone who has done tons and tons of therapy, I had thought I had dealt with all of this stuff, and I was actually quite shocked that it was all coming up in this way. But I really do feel that it was the thing that brought me to a deeper understanding about energy and how emotions are vibrations, and they can get stuck if we experience really highly emotional events, which we've all had. The energy can actually warp the energy of the emotions can actually warp your energy field and get stuck and trapped in the body. And so Dr. Bradley Nelson, he was a chiropractor, practicing chiropractor, and he was sent all the people that nobody else could fix and heal. He had hard, really difficult cases of, autoimmune, fibromyalgia, all kinds of things. And he started to realize, and I think he mentioned by the end of his practice, that he was finding that trapped emotions were the root cause. I think he said something like 95% of the time. So this just so resonated with me at that time, and I started just learning how to do this, and then finding so many insights of like where different patterns were coming from, where different emotional, repetitive hurts over time, why they were continuing to repeat themselves, and why I was feeling like I was just still sort of burdened by these things, and also being able to understand where they all came from. Like, I'm the type of person that needs to know why, and in the work of the Emotion Code, you find out that emotions may not originate with you. You can absorb a trapped emotion in uterus if your mother or even father are going through something highly emotional at that time. There's emotions that can be passed down generation to generation. Eckhart Tolle talks about the pain body, and this sort of heavy pain that just gets passed down. Dr. Nelson talks about it, like we get DNA from our mother and father at conception, we can also inherit emotional information and emotional frequencies. So, so it was just mind-blowing for me to be able to ask these questions and to try to figure out where this stuff was all coming from, and to actually finally feel like I had this ability to ask questions and to clear stuff out. So, how am I doing so far? Is everybody still with me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
You got 25 people, and you got hearts, and you got people joining, and
awesome.
people are in their pajamas on this rainy day.
Yeah, perfect.
Kelly's up there, and
hi, Kelly.
She's in her PJs, and Kathleen is out there, and she's in her PJs. And
all right, hi, Kathleen.
Casey's joined
us.
us.
Oh, hey, Casey, nice to see you.
Donna Dadinsky,
Bafani.
Bafani. I got a friend, Christine from Germany is online as well.
Christine.
A whole bunch of people.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
Great. All right.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'm not rambling too much. So anyway, I started working on this for myself, doing the Emotion Code, and I found so much insight, so much wisdom, and so much compassion for everything that I had been through that I just felt like I had to get certified. And so I did a 6-month certification course, and had, roped in 30 of my besties to work on, so that I could see, does this work for me? Does it work for other people as well? And after that, working with 30 different test clients and dogs too. You can do this with pets. Who would have known? I mean, they have emotions as well. I ended up getting certified. So let me maybe share a little bit. And if there's questions as I go, like, please feel free to ask them. And we've got our lovely mediator Ross here, so he can feed me questions.
Yeah, and if anyone has a question that they would prefer to be anonymous, just send a message to Nathalie's Facebook Messenger, and I'll just read that anonymously. Otherwise, put it in the comments, and we can reply to your questions directly.
Okay, good. Okay, perfect.
And don't forget, Marcia said, me. I think she wants to be a test.
Okay, we got one test person.
Okay.
And if you want, Marcia, you can like send me a private message, or you can put it in the comments if there's any part of those tests that you would like to volunteer for. Either the emotional component, the physical component, or the immune system. So I'll explain more as we go with all of that. So the emotion code. So the emotion code is a very gentle, easy energy healing technique. As we look more and more at the physical and we go down into the cellular level of things, we find that our cells are 99.999% space. And so we are energetic beings as well as we are physical beings. And so we resonate with different frequencies. And as I mentioned, if something heightened that has happened in your life happens, we feel the energy of things that are going on. We're feeling collectively what is happening in the world right now. And normally, if we're in good flow and good health, we can feel those vibrations of energy around us, and then we let them pass, or they just pass. But if something happens, if our system is vulnerable, if the emotion is just too much and it's overwhelming, it can actually become a trapped emotion in the body. And Dr. Nelson has found that trapped emotions can be anywhere between like the size of like a golf ball to like a cantaloupe. And they can end up being lodged in different parts of the body and create, cause the body to be off balance. The great part about this is the idea that we operate most of the time from the conscious level. We're conscious about 10% of the time. We remember certain things that happened. And like an iceberg, that tip, that 10% pops out of the water, that is visible, that we can see, the stuff that we do day to day, that we remember where we put our keys, what we did. And then there's, underneath that water surface, that below the surface of the iceberg, that 90% is the subconscious. And the subconscious is like this incredible supercomputer, and it remembers everything. And the beauty of the emotion code is that we can actually tap into that subconscious knowing, this supercomputer, to get answers, to find out, what happened when, what emotion is stored where. The subconscious, it allows us to, this process allows us to tap into that. And often what's going on, if we are having, a pattern that repeats, or an illness or an ailment, it's the body trying to tell us something. Something is off balance. Something needs to be listened to. Something is needed. And so being able to tap into the subconscious allows us to find out what the body is telling us. And the cool thing about it is that the subconscious is like, or an illness or an ailment, it kind of keeps tugging at you until you resolve it, until you let it go. So this process is great for being able to do that. So I don't want to overwhelm with a lot of information. So why don't I just sort of jump in a little bit and give you an idea and a starting point of how we can tap into the subconscious. So there's this one aspect, and the emotion code is based on a couple different principles, ideas, practices. One is traditional Chinese medicine, which looks at the flow of qi through the body, the meridians. Number 2 is applied kinesiology. Has anyone ever learned or done or seen the muscle testing? So that's an element of this. I think those are the main 2. I was going to say there's a third one, but in that second one, that muscle testing, I'm going to talk a little bit about that principle. Muscle testing is this idea that we will sway or be positive, test positively for something that is congruent, something that feels true to us. And we will test negatively. We'll go weak if something is not true, if it doesn't resonate with us. So the same principle kind of applies for we will sway forward or sway back depending on if something is congruent, if something is not congruent. So if you want to at home, you can try this. This is a great way to kind of test this basic principle of the emotion code. So if you are, trying the sway test, you can just simply say, my name is, and say your real name. My name is Nathalie, and I will sway forward because that's a true statement. If I say my name is Ross, although we feel like the same person sometimes, I'll sway back. And it's that same principle as like a plant will grow towards the light, will grow towards beautiful music. It'll sway away from, harsh music. It'll grow away from that. It's that same principle that we all want to move and sway towards congruency, towards light, towards love. So you can try that at home if you want to, swaying towards something, swaying away from, if I say, my name is Jack, I just sway against. If I say the word love, I'll just naturally sway forward. If I say the word hate or war, I just sway back. So you can test that at home and see if you can feel that. It's a great way to tap into sorry, Ross is sending me messages, so I'm trying to okay, all right. To see if you can tap into that inner knowing. So I said I was going to give tips as we go for making sure that you're healthy at this time. A great way to use this sway technique is to ask yourself if you need certain things right now. So one of the things that we need a lot right now to keep our immune system up, to keep our health, is lots of fruits and lots of vegetables and lots of hydration. So making sure that you're keeping so healthy right now, because the stress levels are high, and stress can help to suppress your immune system. Not help to, it does suppress your immune system. So you can use the sway test to see if there's certain things that your body really needs right now. So if I hold an orange and I ask myself, is this something that I need right now? My body sways forward, and I can know that that's something that I need to have right now. Also, ester C is great for helping, at this point, helping to boost immune system, helping support. So you can, and natural ester C with natural, like rose hip, that kind of stuff is really great. And you can test with vitamins. So if I can check and see, do I need ester C right now? I already took mine, so it's telling me no, but I can see if I need one. Okay, let's ask later on, will I need one? Okay, yeah. Do I need 2 later on? Yeah. So you can test like that for vitamins and supplements. It's like a really great tool. If anybody gets stuck with that and they're not getting answers, a couple things to make sure about. One is that you're hydrated. Sometimes if you're not hydrated enough, you can't have that connection. Number 2 is you may have a trapped emotion that's blocking you. So you can reach out to me if that's something that's going on. Okay, so the sway test is an integral part of the emotion code. And it's a way that we can, like a supercomputer that talks in yes and no, this is a way to get yes and no answers. So the emotion code is based on that. It's also based on this chart of emotions. I'm not sure if I'm close enough. That helps us to pinpoint very easily different emotions that might be trapped at this time. So that's another component of the emotion code. And the third is a magnet, which a magnet is a great amplifier of intention and a clearer of emotion. So just like if you were to wipe a magnet over your magnetic strip on your credit card, that wipes out information. This does the same thing, which helps us clear a trapped emotion. So
Can it be any magnet?
oh yeah, if you don't have a super, like this is like one of the highest powered magnets that you can get. It's a Niken magnet. You can just use
Like a fridge magnet?
regular fridge magnet at home. And I'll show you how it's done. So how am I doing? Any comments out there? Am I like talking way too much? Is everyone following me okay?
I think people are following. You got 30 people, and
Okay.
we got lots of love and likes and things like that.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, so maybe the best way to do it is just to jump in and I'll just show you kind of how it works. So we have one person that's volunteered as a guinea pig. Can I say her name or should we give her a pseudonym?
No, she said she's good.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, Marcia, thank you so much for offering to be a guinea pig. So, Marcia, if you don't mind, you mentioned that there's stomach pain happening. Do you mind rating it for me on a scale of 1 to 10? Like, is it a 10 out of 10? Like, is it really bothersome? Is it happening a lot through, the day? Is it really intense right now? Is it at about a 5 in the middle of the road? Or is it kind of, like a lingering, nagging thing, but not really taking over your day? Let me know what you think in terms of the number.
So it's going to take a second to
We have a little bit of a
catch
delay.
up. Yeah.
So while Marcia sends us that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a second. I've already gotten Marcia's permission, so I'm just going to take a moment to connect with her. And what that does is it allows me to connect with her subconscious to get the answers from her supercomputer subconscious. And before we start, actually, I would just like to just have everybody take a couple deep breaths. So just take a really good deep breath. I always like to start with stillness. And there's a lot energetically that's going on now. So take a really good deep breath. And in beginning, I always like to just take a moment to give such thanks and gratitude. Thank you for this time. Thank you for this ability to listen deeply. Thank you for the ability to connect right now. I'm grateful for the ability to connect with all of you, to share my heart, share this journey that I've been on in healing, and grateful for the guidance that we're asking for right now. Okay, and I'm going to step to the side so that you can see the swaying happening. So, Marcia, I'm just going to take a moment and I'm going to connect with you. And so before, when I'd sway forward to say my name is Nathalie, now I'm going to just keep saying my name is Marcia, my name is Marcia, my name is Marcia. I'm connecting with Marcia. Okay, so now I'm connecting to her inner wisdom. the supercomputer, the subconscious within her, so that I can start to get answers for her about what's happening if there's a trapped emotion underlying with the stomach pain. So now that I'm connected with Marcia, I'm going to ask the question, is there a trapped emotion that we can clear out today that's connected to this stomach pain? And I'm getting a yes. So there is an element that's related to emotions. Sometimes it's a no, but a lot of the times there is an emotional component. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my chart of emotions, which actually just helps me get to the emotion faster. So there are 2 columns and there are 6 rows with 5 emotions in each. So what I'm going to do now is for Marcia, I'm going to ask, is there a trapped emotion that we can clear around the stomach pain? Yes. Is this trapped emotion in column A? No, I sway back. Is it in column B? Yes, it's in column B. So now I know it's in column B, and now I'm going to find out if it's in an odd row or an even row. Is this in an odd row? Yes. Is it in even? No. So I know that we said B, right? Mm-hmm. B, and what did I just say? Odd. B odd. Sometimes I get so into it, I don't really remember where I am. Okay, B odd. Yeah. And so now I'm going to narrow it down. Is it in B1? Yes. Is it in B3? No. Is it in B5? No. So B1, and I make a conscious effort to not know where the emotions are, what the emotions are, what order they're in, and I don't even want to look at them because I know that my brain will try to influence things and try to outsmart. I try to outsmart things and think, oh, it must be this. I try to go into it completely blindly so that we can get the answers from the subconscious, which knows way more than any of us consciously. So is it in B1? Yes. Is this emotion, is this the first emotion in B1? Is it the second emotion, third emotion, fourth emotion, fifth emotion? So I just check my work to make sure I'm right. It is B1. Okay, so B1, the emotion there, you can see, is, I don't know if you can see, am I in the right spot, is effort unreceived. So it's that idea of putting effort into things and not getting it back, not getting, the investment that you put out there back in return. So let's just check, is this emotion effort unreceived? And different emotions resonate or are created in different organs. If you want to know more about that, you can look at acupuncture, traditional Chinese medicine, and to see how the different meridians are connected, different emotions are connected with different organs. So for example, the emotion of anger can be created or resonate a lot in the liver. So for this particular one, effort unreceived is connected to, doesn't mean that that's where it gets lodged, but originates either in the heart or the small intestine. Okay, so effort unreceived. Now we go through the process of finding out when this trapped emotion was, when it got trapped, when it got stuck. So, Marcia, I will just for the sake of it, just imagine that maybe you're somewhere around my age. So we'll divide the age into 2. We'll start at if it happened before 25 or after 25 to sort of pinpoint where this emotion may have gotten stuck originally. So did this trapped emotion happen after the age of 25? No, before the age of 25. Did this emotion originate in Marcia's 20s? 20s. In her teens, in her childhood, before 20? No, in her 20s. So let's say, did it happen around 25? Oh, okay, 25. Did it happen around 24? 23, 22, 21, 25, somewhere around 25. There could have been something that happened. You don't have to tell us. Hopefully there's something that comes to mind. Sometimes things can be so repressed or we don't remember. But a lot of times when we start asking questions, we can figure out if something actually did happen around the age of 25. And it's give or take a year. So it just helps point towards that time. So if you feel like saying anything about that, you can. If you don't, you can let us know if there is something that might have happened, or now we can start to ask more questions. We can say, does this have anything to do with work? Does this have to do with relationships? Does this have to do with, putting myself out there in the world, or something like that, where you put your effort out and you didn't receive it? So if you want to add anything about that, you can. So I know we're going to have a little bit of a delay getting an answer from Marcia, but let me know if any of that resonates for you for the age of 25.
I asked her about that. I haven't heard anything back, which might be doing something. She says she started studying for her music degree.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Is this around starting to study? Yeah, starting to study for your music degree. And if there was anything that was happening at that time where you did feel like you were putting yourself out there and something shut you down, you weren't being recognized, or you weren't having the response that you felt that you were yearning, that's very much that territory of effort unreceived. So is there anything else we need to know? The subconscious tells me, nope, we got the issue. The subconscious just wants us to go, that's what this is about. Oh my gosh, I get it. Finally, you get it. And then we can bring it up to conscious level, and then we can clear it out of the way. So, Marcia, your subconscious, and thank you so much for being our guinea pig and doing this. Your subconscious says, that's what this is about. That's where this emotion originated. And it's saying that we can actually clear it. Okay? So now what we can do, since I am working on your behalf, I'm going to use my magnet. You want to do it for me?
Yeah.
Oh, Ross is going to do it for me. If you have a partner like Ross, he can help do the clearing. So what he'll do is just do 3 swipes down the governing meridian. The governing meridian is the meridian that connects all meridians. So if you clear that main superhighway meridian, you clear the energy that's been brought to the surface around all the different meridians. So just doing 3 swipes down the governing meridian, and we're sending the intention that we are clearing this emotion, that this emotion is no longer stuck in the body, that we are letting it go.
Sorry, méchant.
Sorry, méchant. Yes, en français. And so what we're also doing is we're saying to ourselves, I hear you, I get it. And we're also sending so much love and compassion for that 25-year-old that was trying to put herself out and trying to do something new that was following her heart. Oftentimes trapped emotions come when we are following our heart or doing something that is really important to us. Okay, so now we can check our work. Have we cleared this trapped emotion? Okay, so there's more. Is there more around? Yes. Is there more around effort unreceived? So sometimes you can clear it right at the first pit stop. Sometimes there's more stops to go through. So in this case, there's more. So is this also the emotion of effort unreceived? Yes. So it goes further. Is this trapped emotion, did this happen in Marcia's teenage years? No. Childhood. Did this happen before the age of 5? Before the age of 5. After the age of 5. Before the age of 5. Did this happen at the age of 5? At the age of 4? At the age of 3? At the age of 2? At the age of 1? Okay, at the age of 1. So, we won't be able to remember. Maybe you can remember. I don't know if something, emotional happened. Most of us can't remember at 1 year old. So let's just say, was there that feeling at the age of 1 where you're trying to connect with maybe mom or dad, and you're not feeling for some reason that energy coming back? Is it something about that? Yeah. We can even check, was it something around mom? Was it something around dad? Something around dad, trying to reach, trying to connect, and maybe not receiving that back. Can we now clear this trapped emotion? Okay, so Ross helped me when I have a partner to clear the trapped emotion. I'll show you what happens if you're on your own. You can take a magnet like this, take just a little fridge magnet. You can also use your hands if you don't have a magnet, because our fingertips have magnetic energy. And you just do the same idea, but run along that governing meridian, which is from the top of the upper lip, over the head, down to the base of the spine. So I'm going to just think of clearing that emotion for Marcia, setting that intention that we are now letting go of that feeling of effort unreceived that started at such a young age. And often when something like that happens, we will repeat it because we know that frequency, we know that emotional vibration. So I've cleared that away for her, and let's just check. Have we cleared this trapped emotion? Yes. Okay, so it took us 2 stops, first at 25 and then at 1, to get rid of this emotion. So have we cleared this trapped emotion? And is there anything else we need to know? No. So we can just check by asking those questions. So Marcia, you're amazing. Thank you for allowing me to connect with you. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect, because I'm not going to stay in the territory of your subconscious. So I'm going to take a second, and I'm just going to come back to myself and disconnect. So I am Nathalie, I'm Nathalie, I'm Nathalie, I'm Nathalie, I'm Nathalie. So now I'm back to myself. So great, that's fantastic. Marcia, thank you so much. So that's an example of how the emotion code works. And as you can see, sometimes sometimes trapped emotions do like 4 or 5 pit stops until we get to the root, until we get to the source. So Marcia, in the next little while, next couple days, you're going to be just processing that. So I want you to drink a lot of water. If you can, drink water with lemon. It's so detoxifying for the liver, for your whole body really, and helps to just process out emotions or different feelings that might come up. And if anything does come up, just be the compassionate witness to it. Just allow yourself to go, okay, I hear you. The reason we get stuck in patterns, the reason this stuff continues for us, is because our society is built on pushing it aside, stiff upper lip, chin up, get on with it, and we don't often take that time to say, I get it, I hear you, I understand, I see, I see how that would be difficult, I see that pain. So thank you so much, Marcia. If you feel a little bit emotional, that's great. Just let it be. If you can do anything to just be super, super nurturing, that would be great. So thank you again. Yay! Everyone give big hearts to Marcia, please. That's so brave.
Yay.
Thank you.
You disconnect from her?
Yes.
Disconnected.
We're disconnected.
Okay. So on that same theme, we have a question from Aurelia Leon.
Oh,
She's
bonjour, Aurelia. Sault Ste. Marie.
Sault Ste. Marie, that was it. And she wants to know, what are the best ways to decrease our stress level and anxiety and negative emotions due to this self-isolation?
Great. That's a fantastic, fantastic question. Okay. Number 1, our bodies are under so much stress. We have so much anxiety. Yes, it's important to stay connected in terms of knowing what's going on in the world, but limit your time on the TV, on news, on that stuff is all fight flight information. It gets your adrenals worked up. It gets you in like fight flight panic flee mode. The best thing you can do is to stay out of that zone, to do whatever you can to stay calm, to have baths, to meditate, to do a little bit of gentle yoga. First and foremost around that is to really honor how you feel. This is a highly charged emotional time. We're all feeling it, and we are more connected than we know. The collective, consciousness, the collective energy. So we need to keep our systems balanced and nurtured at this time. Get your cozies on. Read good, positive magazines. One of the exercises that I wanted to give today, and this is a perfect time to offer it to you, is this great quote that I found. When the ego weeps for what it has lost, the spirit rejoices for what it has found. So again, when the ego weeps for what it has lost, right now the ego, that part of us that is attached to succeeding, success, finances, achieving, all of that stuff, proving our worth, proving ourselves, that part of our world is being, shaken. So, but in that, there is this ability to go so deeply inward. So now is the time to nurture spirit and soul territory, to do those things, to listen to yourself, to listen to your body, to allow whatever emotions are coming up and don't push them aside. So one of the exercises, the writing exercises that I was going to give as a possible way to get yourself out of fight, flight, and to get yourself more into that soul territory is every day, if you can, 5 minutes maximum. Grab a journal, grab a notepad. You can do it when you just first wake up. I like to do that, do it at that point because you're kind of closest to that Zen sort of, dream state, the subconscious, you're closest to subconscious territory at that moment, is to write, what is this period of isolation, this pandemic, what is it teaching me? What is it bringing? When the ego weeps for what it has lost, the spirit rejoices for what it has found. What are you finding? Are you connecting with family? Are you being easier on yourself? Are you are you sleeping more? So many people I've heard from are sleeping more. Well, it's because we need it. We are so stressed in our society. We don't take enough time to have downtime, to rest. So what are the lessons being learned here? What are the gifts that are coming out of this? And also you can also write out everything that you're feeling, because allowing yourself to just witness the emotions and be so compassionate about, yeah, of course I'm feeling stressed. Of course I'm feeling fear. Of course I'm feeling these things. I think a huge part of being able to manage it is not pushing aside those hard feelings and really embracing them and allowing them to have a voice. So I hope that helps. Oh, another thing, for anyone who is struggling a little bit with just feeling a bit down, a bit depressed, well, two things. First, let me say we need to boost our immune system if we're depressed or not. Right now, to combat this fight-flight energy, we need to really raise our immune system and also to fight any viruses we might be in contact with. So ester C, great. A capsule or two even per meal. Zinc, ionic zinc is great to really help fight off pathogens, bacteria, viruses. B12 is great. Drinking a lot of water, flushing things out. Celery juice, if you have a juicer, celery juice in the morning on an empty stomach is amazing for fighting pathogens, bacteria. It's great for boosting hydrochloric acid, which breaks down food, which takes the the burden off of the liver. Doing anything to cleanse the liver, lemon water is really important. And then if, like I said, if you're feeling down, depressed, try to sit in the sunlight. Try to get out a little bit. And the other thing, huge for if you're feeling any kinds of depression, eat the color of the sun. Eat oranges, mangoes, cantaloupe. This is so helpful. Oranges, apples, food. Our food has a vibration, a frequency. So getting those things that will boost our system is really, really important. So hopefully that helps. Let me know with thumbs up and stuff or comments if that's helpful.
Carrie Tomasetti wants to know if patterns can repeat after they've been cleared.
Oh, that's a fantastic question. Once you've cleared them, you have cleared them. Now, that's not to say that you might have a same emotion repeating in another way or based on another, thing that's happened in your life. But if we go down, like for example, for Marcia with what happened at 25, effort unreceived, and back to when she was 1, that is cleared. These don't come back. But it is true that, we gather a lot of, some people say emotional baggage. So, there can be a lot of emotions that are going on. But once we clear it, it's gone. Yeah. Great question. Thank you.
Good. And Marcia says that she's definitely noticed that she needs more sleep.
Good. Good, Marcia. Yeah. And try to do everything possible to support your gut right now. Celery juice is great for that. Yeah.
Yeah. And we had another question here. I don't know if we have time. It's 4 minutes to 12.
Okay. If everyone's good to continue a little bit, we can do one more. Let me know with the thumbs up and stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a second. Sure.
Or is that just more of a question in general? That might be more of a question in general. So the question is there a trapped emotion surrounding an unnamed person? We can definitely ask that question. And I can start by saying you can definitely ask that question and get an answer. If there's something about this relationship, is there a trapped emotion about that? Maybe while we wait to hear from this person, if she actually wants me to do it or just answer, actually do it? Yeah? Okay. I'm going to just give you a little bit of insight into different ways that the emotion code can be used. So, first of all, we can check where our immune system's at. So I can ask, is my immune system functioning at 50%, 60%, 70%? I'm around 70%, 75%, lower than 75, higher than 75. Okay, so 76, 77, 78, so around 76%. So that tells me there might be a trapped emotion that's suppressing my immune system. Maybe I need to clear something, or maybe I just need to be doing more to just really boost my immune system right now. That's one great thing that you can do with the emotion code. Another, we talked about physical pain. Thank you, Marcia, for being our guinea pig. Another is emotional patterns, self-sabotaging behavior, addictions, depression, or you can get so many incredible insights through the emotion code in these areas. What's another one? Yeah, relationship. Okay, so I'll just tell you a little bit of a personal story. Ross and I have done the emotion code. I've worked on him. He's helped me. We've done some incredible healing, especially through all that we've been through. And, on occasion, a couple will have what we call a bump. Smooth sailing, and all of a sudden something happens. There's a situation, and backs get up and you're not seeing eye to eye, and something is happening that, you know, your defenses are high, you're not able to kind of figure out what's happening, you have different agendas, whatever it might be. The emotion code is amazing with relationships. If you get stuck in a certain pattern in your relationship and you can't sort of seem to figure out what is going on underneath that, you can use the emotion code. And one time, one incident, we used it to try to figure out, like, what was going on there? Why did we get our backs up so high? And we both realized that we were responding to a trapped emotion that was happening for both of us when we were children. And, you know, where for Ross, being the youngest of 4, what was happening was he was needing to be heard. And for me in this situation, I needed to leave because I didn't feel safe, because I had a very tumultuous, you know, upbringing, and my mom suffered a lot with addiction. And so if I feel like I'm unsafe like that, I need to bolt. So these were the two things that were happening that were allowing our guards to go so up and us not to be able to see what was happening. So the emotion code is incredible for relationships, to be able to bring those, you know, those guards down and to be able to see with so much compassion. It's like, oh my gosh, no wonder you responded like that. And, you know, no wonder I responded like that. And it's just this incredible, like, it's just been an amazing tool. So, okay, shall we, is everyone good to continue a little bit and we'll work with this last request? Is that cool?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Do it.
All right. Okay, so for this person, we are going to check and see, is there a trapped emotion?
Do you have to connect to them?
Yeah, I'm gonna connect. Is there a trapped emotion? I just want to make sure I know what the question is. Surrounding an unnamed person. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to connect subconsciously with this person. So I'm just going to take a second. Okay, all right, so I'm now connected with this person's subconscious. So I'm now going to be able to ask the question, is there a trapped emotion around this unnamed person? Yes. Is this trapped emotion in column A? No. Is it in column B? Column B. Is it in an odd row? Odd row. Is it even? Even. Okay, so B, even. Is it B2? B2. Is it B4? Is it B6? No, it's B2. Okay, so now we're going to grab our little chart and we're going to find out B2. And we're going to find out if this trapped emotion, is it the first emotion? First emotion. Is it the second emotion? Is it the third? Is it the fourth? Is it the fifth? Is it the first? Okay, the first emotion that comes up in B2 is the emotion of failure. So it may be a failure that's happened in a past relationship, or something that has caused you to feel, for some reason, failure and resonate with that vibration. So can we check and see, is this trapped emotion failure? Okay, so did this trapped emotion happen before, or let's say after the age of 25? Before the age of 25? Did this trapped emotion happen before the age of 20? Did this trapped emotion happen before the age of 10? Yes. Did this trapped emotion happen before the age of 5? Before the age of 5. Did this trapped emotion happen at the age of 4? 4. 3, 2, 1, 5? No. Around the age of 4, give or take. There's some kind of a feeling with the emotion of failure. It could be something like a failure in a relationship, or a failure to connect with someone. Since we're talking about relationship, we can start with that as a possibility. So it's something around a failure around a relationship. Is it a failure around siblings? Is it a failure around friends? Is it a failure around parents? Is it a failure somehow, feeling a failure to connect with mom? Is it with mom? Is it with dad? Is it with both parents? Okay, maybe some feeling of failure to connect with both parents at age 4. So this person who's, I'm connecting with, you can let me know secretly if that resonates in any way. And then I can ask also, is there anything else that we need to know? No. For whatever reason, subconscious just wants you to know, that 4-year-old self felt somehow there was a failure to connect. Maybe, is it a failure to be what they wanted? Failure to be what they wanted? Could be something like that. Failure to please could be something in that territory. We can always connect after if you have questions or if you want to know more about what this could be. Is there anything else that we need to know? Can we clear this trapped emotion? Can we clear this trapped emotion? Does this go further back? Is there something else? There's something else we need to know. So, why don't I connect personally with this person? Sometimes it's good in a session, it's nice to have the dialogue, to know and to really pinpoint. I keep saying, but the subconscious is like this, a child having a tantrum. It's like, oh my gosh, you're listening? Okay, I need to tell you what it's about. I need to tell you, I need you to hear, I need you to know what this is about. So when I work with someone, we can keep pinpointing, what is this? Why is there a failure? What's the feeling of failure? Is it coming from mom and dad? Is it coming from you? Okay? You're nodding.
Yeah, failure with both parents.
Oh, really? Failure with both parents, we heard back. Okay. And maybe we can ask, is it failure to be what they wanted? Yeah. Is it failure? Failure? Did they feel the failure? Did they feel the failure? Did you feel the failure? Did they feel? Okay, so it's more from this person. Okay, so there might be more that we need to know. So I'm going to follow up with this person so that we can really get words for whatever might have been happening at that time. And then we'll do the whole process to be able to clear it. So let me know from comments. Let me know if you're like thumbs up, if you're like, yeah, this is kind of cool, but kind of woo-woo out there. Or hearts if you're like, wow, I get it. This is like really interesting. Let me know from comments if you'd like to know more or if you'd like to hear more. You can like this page. You can send me an email if you'd like to know more about it or find out if this can be helpful in any way. And let me just check my notes here to see if there's anything that I didn't do. Oh yeah, and is that a question? Is that a question?
Yeah, are you doing this again?
I would love to do it again. If anyone would like for me to do it again, I would love to. It's something that I am so passionate about. Every time I do a session, I am completely blown away by the answers, and so is usually the person I'm working with. The answers are just so wise and fascinating. So yes, I would love to do it again. Back to Aurelia's comment. Another great thing that you can do right now, which is also in that same territory of being able to listen to a greater wisdom, a higher power, our, innate ability to tap into the subconscious or the collective consciousness, is pulling angel cards or different divination cards. So this is a great way. I have like an angel deck. I collect all kinds of different decks. But it's a great way if you need a moment to get some wisdom from within, to just sit, kind of rummage through the cards and wait until you feel like, pick with your left hand, it's your intuitive hand. Wait until you feel, oh, this is the card I need. And I don't know how many times we've pulled a card and it's like, our jaws are on the floor, thinking like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what's happening right now. That's exactly what I needed to hear. So that's another great tool. I'll put some links down below. There's a great Canadian medium named Colette Barron Reed, and she has angel cards and different decks of cards, and you can pull a card online. So if you don't have a deck at home, you can do it that way. It's a great way to listen. Oh, and there's another really great resource. I'll put it down somewhere on this page. There's a really great 20-minute talk with Eckhart Tolle that is all about, what this time is about, how it is really an invitation to listen to spirit, to be more present, to get out of ego, to choose how we react. And again, another great way to stay balanced, connect with gratitude. Every night before we go to bed, we list all the things we're grateful for, and we send love out. When we're scared, nurture ourselves, but also send love back out to everyone else. So with those words, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for taking time. Oh, Ross is putting hearts. There's hearts on a page. Is that the hearts that are coming through?
Yeah, it's for them too.
Oh, big hearts for you. Thank you so much. Sending much love. Be healthy, be well, and thank you. And thank you to Ross.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.